A woman in discount athletic wear approached the front desk of Premier Elite Fitness, her worn sneakers squeaking against the polished marble floors. The receptionist barely looked up from her phone as she slid a day pass across the granite counter. "Membership consultation is extra," she said with barely concealed disdain. "Most people find our rates a bit steep."
What happened next would
expose the ugly truth about how we judge others and remind us that assumptions can be dangerous. Sometimes the most powerful people are the ones who choose not to flaunt it. And sometimes a simple act of kindness reveals more about character than any designer label ever could. Have you ever been dismissed because of how you looked? Because what happened to Emma Rodriguez that Tuesday morning would change everything she thought she knew about respect, authenticity, and what it really means to belong. The morning sun cast long shadows across the parking lot of Premier Elite Fitness as Emma Rodriguez pulled her 15-year-old sedan into a spot between two luxury SUVs. She sat for a moment, checking her reflection in the rearview mirror and adjusting the faded logo on her old university t-shirt. At 32, Emma had learned to navigate spaces where she clearly didn't belong. But today felt different. Today she was here for a reason that went beyond her own needs. Her phone buzzed with another notification, which she quickly silenced before grabbing her canvas gym bag from the passenger seat. The bag had seen better days, its fabric softened by years of use and multiple trips through the washing machine. Inside were the basics she could afford: a water bottle with a dented bottom, a towel from a hotel stay 3 years ago, and workout clothes that were functional rather than fashionable. Emma pushed through the heavy glass doors and immediately felt the weight of judgment settle over her like a thick fog. Premier Elite Fitness was everything its name suggested: a temple to affluence disguised as a health club. The walls were lined with inspirational quotes in gold lettering. The equipment gleamed under strategically placed lighting, and every surface seemed designed to reflect the success of its members. The sound of expensive sneakers on imported rubber flooring created a rhythm that spoke of money and status. Personal trainers in matching uniforms guided clients through routines, while discussing vacation homes and investment portfolios between sets. At the front desk, a young woman with perfectly contoured makeup and a smile that never reached her eyes looked up with the expression of someone performing an unpleasant duty. Her name tag read Brittany, and everything about her posture suggested she'd rather be anywhere else. The consultation that followed was a masterclass in passive aggression, with Brittany somehow managing to make every question sound like an insult wrapped in corporate politeness. When Emma mentioned she was interested in the basic membership, Brittany's eyebrows rose slightly, as if the very concept was foreign to her. "Our basic package starts at $300 per month," Brittany explained, her voice carrying the tone of someone who expected this information to end the conversation. "That doesn't include personal training, group classes, or access to the premium equipment on the second floor. Most of our members find that the full platinum membership better suits their needs." She slid a glossy brochure across the marble surface, the paper itself seemingly more expensive than Emma's entire workout wardrobe. The numbers on the page were staggering: monthly fees that exceeded what many people paid in rent, initiation costs that could fund a small car, and add-on services priced like luxury vacations. Emma studied the brochure carefully, her expression giving nothing away. She had learned long ago that reacting to such treatment only invited more of it, and today she had a specific mission that required patience and careful observation. "I'd like to try a day pass first," she said quietly, reaching into her bag for her wallet, a simple black leather rectangle that had been a gift from her sister years earlier. The wallet's modest appearance seemed to confirm every assumption Brittany had made about her financial situation. "Day passes are $50, Brittany replied, not bothering to hide her skepticism. "But honestly, you might be more comfortable at one of the chain gyms downtown. They have more flexible pricing options." The suggestion came with a forced smile that somehow managed to be more insulting than outright rudeness would have been. Behind Brittany, Emma could see other staff members glancing in their direction, their expressions a mixture of curiosity and barely concealed amusement at the interaction playing out at the front desk. Emma handed over the cash without comment, accepting the temporary keycard and a small packet of information about gym etiquette and policies. As she signed the liability waiver, she noticed Brittany's fingers drumming impatiently on the desk, as if the simple act of processing a day pass was an unreasonable burden on her time. The entire transaction took less than 5 minutes, but it was 5 minutes that revealed everything Emma needed to know about the culture of Premier Elite Fitness. The locker room was a study in understated luxury, with individual changing areas that resembled small hotel suites more than typical gym facilities. Emma chose a locker in a quiet corner and began changing into her workout clothes, acutely aware of the conversations happening around her. Women discussed their personal shoppers and interior designers while applying expensive skincare products between sets. Their gym bags were designer accessories that cost more than some people's monthly salaries, filled with workout clothes that looked like they'd never seen actual sweat. As Emma emerged from the changing area in her simple black leggings and gray t-shirt, she felt the weight of curious stares. Her clothes were clean and functional, but they bore the subtle signs of regular use. A slight fading here, a small snag there, that marked them as budget-friendly rather than boutique. She had deliberately chosen her most ordinary outfit for this visit, knowing that appearances would be crucial to her research. The women around her were dressed in coordinated sets that looked more like fashion statements than athletic wear, their hair and makeup perfectly maintained despite the supposed intention to exercise. Emma made her way to the main workout floor, taking note of the layout and observing the interactions between staff and members. Personal trainers moved between clients with practiced efficiency, their attention clearly calibrated to match the perceived importance of each member. She watched as a trainer spent nearly 15 minutes adjusting the form of a woman whose Hermes gym bag sat beside her on the bench, while barely acknowledging another member who was struggling with a weight machine nearby. The hierarchy was subtle but unmistakable, communicated through eye contact, response time, and the quality of attention each person received. The equipment itself was impressive. Top-of-the-line machines that hummed quietly and responded to touch with the precision of luxury automobiles. Emma began with a simple warm-up on the treadmill, setting a moderate pace and observing the flow of activity around her. She noticed how certain areas of the gym seemed to have unofficial territorial boundaries, with regular members clustering in specific sections and newcomers instinctively avoiding these spaces. The weight area in particular felt like an exclusive club, dominated by a group of women who clearly knew each other well and weren't particularly welcoming to outsiders. During her workout, Emma overheard fragments of conversations that revealed the true nature of many members' relationships with fitness. Exercise seemed secondary to the social aspects of membership, with many people spending more time chatting than actually working out. She listened to discussions about personal trainers who were hired more for their appearance than their expertise, about nutrition plans that involved expensive supplements rather than balanced eating, and about workout clothes that were purchased for their brand names rather than their functionality. It was a world where the appearance of health and fitness mattered more than the actual pursuit of either. After completing her workout, Emma returned to the locker room to change back into her street clothes. As she gathered her belongings, she overheard two women discussing her presence with the casual cruelty that often accompanies perceived anonymity. "Did you see that woman in the gray shirt?" one whispered to her companion. "I can't believe they let just anyone in here now. The standards have really dropped." Her friend nodded in agreement, adding her own observations about Emma's appearance and speculating about how she could possibly afford even a day pass at such an exclusive facility. Emma finished packing her bag methodically, her expression unchanged despite having heard every word. She had encountered this type of judgment countless times before, and it no longer surprised or hurt her. If anything, it served to strengthen her resolve and remind her why her work was so important. As she prepared to leave the locker room, she made one final observation about the small tribal behaviors and unspoken rules that governed this particular social ecosystem. At the front desk, Emma returned her day pass and thanked Brittany for her assistance. The receptionist barely looked up from her phone, offering only a distracted nod in response. "Have a nice day," Brittany said, with the same artificial politeness she had displayed earlier, clearly assuming this would be the last time she would see this obviously unsuitable potential member. As Emma walked toward the exit, she could feel eyes following her, along with the satisfied expressions of people who believed they had successfully defended their exclusive territory from an unwelcome intruder. Emma paused at the door and turned back to survey the scene one final time. The morning rush was in full swing, with members arriving in their luxury vehicles and designer workout attire, ready to perform their daily rituals of social fitness. Personal trainers circulated among their preferred clients, offering encouragement and expertise to those who could afford the premium rates. The entire operation functioned with the smooth efficiency of a well-oiled machine designed to cater to a very specific demographic, while making others feel decidedly unwelcome. As Emma pushed through the glass doors and stepped back into the parking lot, she pulled out her phone and began typing a quick note to herself about the morning's observations. The experience had been exactly what she had expected, but also more revealing than she had hoped. The casual cruelty she had witnessed, the systematic exclusion based on appearance and perceived economic status, and the way staff had been trained to discourage certain types of potential members, were all important data points for the story she was preparing to tell. The drive home gave Emma time to process what she had experienced and begin formulating her response. She had spent years building a platform dedicated to making fitness accessible and welcoming to everyone, regardless of their background or circumstances. Her approach focused on practical advice, affordable options, and the simple truth that health and strength came in many forms. Today's visit to Premier Elite Fitness had provided her with the perfect example of everything that was wrong with the fitness industry's obsession with exclusivity and status. Back in her modest apartment, Emma sat down at her computer and began reviewing the footage from the small camera she had worn during her gym visit. The device was nearly invisible, designed to capture authentic interactions without alerting the subjects being recorded. As she scrolled through the video, she made notes about particularly revealing moments: Brittany's dismissive attitude at the front desk, the personal trainer's obvious favoritism, and the overheard conversations in the locker room that had assumed she couldn't hear or understand their implications. Emma's apartment reflected her authentic relationship with fitness: functional equipment that showed signs of regular use, books about nutrition and exercise science, and photos from various athletic events where she had volunteered or participated. Unlike the pristine luxury of Premier Elite Fitness, her space felt lived in and genuine, designed for actual use rather than display. Her home gym setup consisted of basic weights, resistance bands, and yoga mats that had been chosen for their effectiveness rather than their appearance. As she prepared her response to the morning's experience, Emma reflected on the journey that had brought her to this point. She had started sharing fitness content online almost by accident, posting simple workout videos to help friends who couldn't afford gym memberships or personal trainers. Her approach was refreshingly honest. She sweated during workouts, her form wasn't always perfect, and she talked openly about the challenges of maintaining a healthy lifestyle on a budget. The authenticity of her content had resonated with people who felt excluded from the polished perfection of mainstream fitness media. Over time, Emma's following had grown steadily as people discovered her practical approach to health and wellness. She reviewed affordable workout gear, demonstrated exercises that could be done at home with minimal equipment, and shared nutrition advice that didn't require expensive supplements or exotic ingredients. Her content focused on progress rather than perfection, celebrating small victories and acknowledging that everyone's fitness journey looked different. She had built a community of people who supported each other without judgment or competition. What made Emma's platform unique was her commitment to inclusivity and accessibility. She featured people of all sizes, ages, and ability levels in her content, showing that fitness was not a one-size-fits-all proposition. Her videos included modifications for different skill levels and physical limitations, and she regularly addressed the psychological barriers that prevented many people from pursuing healthier lifestyles. She had turned down numerous sponsorship opportunities from companies whose values didn't align with her mission of making fitness welcoming to everyone. Emma's influence extended far beyond her online presence. She had consulted with several gym chains on making their facilities more inclusive, helped develop fitness programs for community centers in underserved areas, and spoken at conferences about the importance of accessibility in the wellness industry. Her work had earned recognition from health organizations and fitness professionals who appreciated her evidence-based approach and genuine commitment to helping people improve their lives. Despite her success, Emma had deliberately maintained a low profile in many ways. She didn't flaunt her achievements or use her platform to promote luxury products or exclusive experiences. Her goal was to remain relatable and accessible to the people who needed her message most: those who felt intimidated by traditional fitness culture or couldn't afford premium gym memberships and personal training sessions. She had learned that true influence came from authentic connection rather than manufactured authority. The contrast between Emma's approach to fitness and what she had experienced at Premier Elite Fitness could not have been more stark. Where the gym promoted exclusivity and status, Emma advocated for inclusion and accessibility. Where they emphasized expensive equipment and luxury amenities, she demonstrated that effective workouts could happen anywhere with minimal gear. Where they created hierarchies based on appearance and wealth, she built communities based on mutual support and shared goals. As Emma continued planning her response to the morning's experience, she thought about the thousands of people who followed her content because they had been made to feel unwelcome in spaces like Premier Elite Fitness. She had received countless messages from people who had given up on fitness because they couldn't afford expensive memberships, or felt intimidated by the culture of judgment that pervaded many gyms. Her platform had become a safe space for people who wanted to improve their health without facing the social barriers that the fitness industry often erected. The video Emma was preparing would not be about revenge or public shaming, but about education and awareness. She wanted to show how unconscious bias and exclusionary practices affected real people and prevented them from accessing the health benefits that everyone deserved. Her goal was to spark meaningful conversations about inclusivity in fitness and encourage both businesses and individuals to examine their own assumptions and behaviors. Emma knew that her revelation would surprise many people who had encountered her at Premier Elite Fitness, but she hoped it would also serve as a teaching moment about the dangers of making judgments based on appearance. She had the platform and influence to create real change in the industry, but she also understood that lasting transformation required more than viral videos or public call-outs. It required a sustained commitment to building better systems and changing hearts and minds, one person at a time. 3 days after her visit to Premier Elite Fitness, Emma published a video that would forever change how people thought about judgment, authenticity, and the true meaning of fitness. She had spent hours carefully crafting her response, ensuring that her message was clear but not vindictive, educational but not preachy. The video began with footage from her gym visit, showing the interactions that had taken place without revealing faces or providing identifying information about the specific location. Her narration was calm and measured as she walked viewers through the experience of being dismissed and excluded, based solely on her appearance. The revelation of Emma's true identity came midway through the video, as she transitioned from the gym footage to scenes from her home studio, where she had filmed hundreds of workout videos for her 3 million subscribers. The contrast was immediate and powerful. The same woman who had been treated with such disdain was actually one of the most respected voices in the fitness industry. Emma's platform had generated millions of views and helped countless people begin their own fitness journeys. Yet none of that had been apparent to the people who had judged her so harshly. The video quickly went viral, garnering millions of views within the first 24 hours and sparking widespread discussion about bias in the fitness industry. Comments poured in from viewers sharing their own experiences of being judged or excluded from gyms and fitness spaces. Many people expressed surprise at learning Emma's true identity, admitting that they too might have made similar assumptions based on her appearance during the gym visit. The video became a catalyst for broader conversations about inclusivity, accessibility, and the importance of looking beyond surface appearances. Professional trainers and gym owners reached out to Emma to discuss how they could make their facilities more welcoming to diverse populations. Several fitness influencers publicly acknowledged their own role in perpetuating exclusionary attitudes and committed to promoting more inclusive messaging. The video had achieved exactly what Emma had hoped. It had opened minds and started meaningful dialogue about necessary changes in fitness culture. Brittany, the receptionist from Premier Elite Fitness, eventually saw the video and recognized herself in the footage. The realization that she had dismissed and insulted one of the most influential people in the fitness industry was shocking. But more important was her growing understanding of how her behavior affected all potential members, regardless of their status or background. She reached out to Emma privately to apologize and ask for guidance on how to better serve all gym visitors with respect and professionalism. Premier Elite Fitness faced significant backlash as the video continued to circulate, with many people identifying the facility despite Emma's efforts to keep it anonymous. The management team was forced to examine their policies and culture, ultimately implementing new training programs for staff and revising their membership practices to be more inclusive. They invited Emma to consult on these changes, an opportunity she accepted with the understanding that real transformation would require ongoing commitment rather than superficial adjustments. The impact of Emma's video extended far beyond the fitness industry, inspiring discussions about bias and judgment in many different contexts. Businesses across various sectors began examining their own practices and training programs to ensure they were treating all customers with equal respect and consideration. The video became a case study in business schools and diversity training programs, demonstrating the real-world consequences of exclusionary attitudes and practices. Emma continued to use her platform to promote positive change in the fitness industry while maintaining her commitment to accessibility and inclusion. She partnered with community organizations to bring fitness programs to underserved areas and worked with equipment manufacturers to develop affordable options for home workouts. Her influence grew not through controversy or conflict, but through consistent demonstration of the values she advocated. The story of Emma's experience at Premier Elite Fitness became a powerful reminder that everyone deserves to be treated with dignity and respect, regardless of their appearance or perceived status. It highlighted the importance of looking beyond surface impressions and recognizing the worth and potential in every person we encounter. Most importantly, it showed that true strength lies not in exclusion and judgment, but in the courage to create spaces where everyone can thrive and grow. Years later, Emma would still receive messages from people who had been inspired by her video to pursue their own fitness journeys or to examine their own biases and assumptions. The simple act of walking into a gym and being treated poorly had become a catalyst for positive change that rippled throughout the fitness industry and beyond. It proved that sometimes the most powerful response to discrimination is not anger or retaliation, but the patient work of education and the persistent demonstration of a better way forward. The transformation at Premier Elite Fitness became a model for other exclusive facilities struggling with similar issues. Within 6 months of Emma's video going viral, the gym had completely restructured its approach to customer service and membership policies. They implemented blind membership applications that focused on fitness goals rather than financial background, created scholarship programs for community members who couldn't afford full memberships, and established mentorship programs pairing experienced members with newcomers regardless of their perceived status or experience level. Brittany, who had initially dismissed Emma so rudely, became one of the most passionate advocates for change within the organization. Her transformation was perhaps the most dramatic of all. From someone who unconsciously perpetuated exclusionary attitudes to a leader in creating welcoming environments for all potential members. She enrolled in courses on unconscious bias and inclusive customer service, eventually becoming the facility's diversity and inclusion coordinator. Her personal journey from prejudice to advocacy inspired other staff members to examine their own assumptions and behaviors. The ripple effects of Emma's experience extended far beyond a single gym or even the fitness industry. The video sparked conversations in schools about bullying and judgment, in workplaces about inclusive practices, and in communities about the importance of treating everyone with basic human dignity. Emma received invitations to speak at conferences, universities, and corporate events about the power of authentic leadership and the importance of creating inclusive environments in all aspects of society. What made Emma's story particularly powerful was not just the dramatic reveal of her identity, but the way she chose to respond to discrimination. Rather than using her platform to seek revenge or publicly shame individuals, she focused on education and systemic change. Her approach demonstrated that true leadership means using influence to lift others up rather than tear them down, and that lasting change comes from changing hearts and minds rather than simply calling out bad behavior. Emma's commitment to accessibility and inclusion eventually led to the creation of the Inclusive Fitness Foundation, a nonprofit organization dedicated to breaking down barriers that prevent people from accessing health and wellness opportunities. The foundation provided grants to community centers for equipment and programming, offered training for fitness professionals on working with diverse populations, and created educational resources for gym owners looking to make their facilities more welcoming to all members of their communities. The foundation's work was supported by donations from people whose lives had been changed by Emma's message, as well as partnerships with companies that shared her vision of making fitness accessible to everyone. Major equipment manufacturers began developing more affordable product lines, specifically designed for community centers and home use. Fitness apparel companies created inclusive sizing and pricing structures that didn't exclude people based on body type or budget constraints. Emma's influence also changed how fitness was portrayed in media and advertising. Her authentic approach to health and wellness challenged the industry's obsession with perfect bodies and expensive gear, showing that real fitness was about feeling strong, healthy, and confident in your own skin. Major brands began featuring more diverse bodies in their advertising and partnering with influencers who promoted realistic, achievable fitness goals rather than unattainable perfection. The academic world took notice of Emma's work as well, with researchers studying the impact of inclusive fitness environments on public health outcomes. Studies showed that when gyms and fitness facilities adopted more welcoming practices, participation rates increased significantly across all demographic groups, leading to improved community health metrics and reduced healthcare costs. Emma's experience had inadvertently provided a real-world case study in the power of inclusive design and respectful customer service. Personal trainers and fitness instructors began seeking out education on how to work with clients from diverse backgrounds and with varying abilities and resources. Emma partnered with certification organizations to develop continuing education courses that focused on inclusive practices, trauma-informed training, and culturally competent instruction. These programs helped create a new generation of fitness professionals who understood that their role was to support and encourage all clients, regardless of their starting point or circumstances. The story also resonated with people far beyond the fitness world who had experienced similar discrimination in other contexts. Retail workers, restaurant servers, and customer service representatives across industries began sharing their own stories of making assumptions about customers based on appearance, leading to widespread discussions about unconscious bias in service industries. Many companies implemented new training programs and policies designed to ensure all customers received equal treatment and respect. Emma's approach to handling discrimination became a blueprint for others facing similar situations. Rather than responding with anger or seeking immediate confrontation, she demonstrated the power of strategic patience and thoughtful action. Her method of documenting the experience, processing it carefully, and then responding with education rather than retaliation, showed that lasting change often requires a more measured approach than immediate emotional reactions. The transformation in fitness culture that began with Emma's video continued to evolve over the years that followed. New gyms and fitness studios opened with inclusion as a core value, offering sliding scale memberships, diverse programming, and welcoming environments for people of all backgrounds. Existing facilities competed to demonstrate their commitment to accessibility and respect for all members, leading to industry-wide improvements in customer service and facility design. Emma's story became required reading in business ethics courses and customer service training programs across multiple industries. Her experience illustrated the financial and reputational risks that companies faced when they allowed discriminatory practices to flourish, while also showing the positive outcomes that resulted from genuine commitment to inclusion and respect. The case study demonstrated that doing the right thing was also good business, as companies that embraced inclusive practices saw increased customer loyalty, positive word-of-mouth marketing, and improved employee satisfaction. The personal connections Emma made through her advocacy work enriched her life in ways she had never expected. She formed lasting friendships with people from all walks of life who shared her commitment to creating more inclusive communities. These relationships reminded her daily that the work of building a more just and equitable society was not just about changing policies and practices, but about recognizing the fundamental humanity and worth of every person we encounter. As Emma reflected on the journey that had begun with a simple visit to an upscale gym, she realized that the most profound transformations often started with the smallest moments of choice. The choice to treat others with dignity, to look beyond surface appearances, to use privilege and influence for positive change, and to respond to injustice with education rather than retaliation. Her story had become a testament to the power of individual actions to create ripple effects that could transform entire industries and communities. The legacy of Emma's experience at Premier Elite Fitness lived on in countless ways. In the training programs that helped service workers recognize their biases, in the gym policies that welcomed people of all backgrounds, in the scholarship programs that made fitness accessible to those who couldn't otherwise afford it, and in the hearts and minds of people who had learned to see past assumptions and stereotypes to recognize the worth and potential in everyone they met. It was a reminder that sometimes the most powerful response to being underestimated is not to prove your worth through confrontation, but to demonstrate it through the patient work of making the world a little more just and kind for everyone who comes after you. To Emma, to discuss how they could make their facilities more welcoming to diverse populations. Several fitness influencers publicly acknowledged their own role in perpetuating exclusionary attitudes and committed to promoting more inclusive messaging. The video had achieved exactly what Emma had hoped. It had opened minds and started meaningful dialogue about necessary changes in fitness culture. Brittany, the receptionist from Premier Elite Fitness, eventually saw the video and recognized herself in the footage. The realization that she had dismissed and insulted one of the most influential people in the fitness industry was shocking. But more important was her growing understanding of how her behavior affected all potential members, regardless of their status or background. She reached out to Emma privately to apologize and ask for guidance on how to better serve all gym visitors with respect and professionalism. Premier Elite Fitness faced significant backlash as the video continued to circulate, with many people identifying the facility despite Emma's efforts to keep it anonymous. The management team was forced to examine their policies and culture, ultimately implementing new training programs for staff and revising their membership practices to be more inclusive. They invited Emma to consult on these changes, an opportunity she accepted with the understanding that real transformation would require ongoing commitment rather than superficial adjustments. The impact of Emma's video extended far beyond the fitness industry, inspiring discussions about bias and judgment in many different contexts. Businesses across various sectors began examining their own practices and training programs to ensure they were treating all customers with equal respect and consideration. The video became a case study in business schools and diversity training programs, demonstrating the real-world consequences of exclusionary attitudes and practices. Emma continued to use her platform to promote positive change in the fitness industry while maintaining her commitment to accessibility and inclusion. She partnered with community organizations to bring fitness programs to underserved areas and worked with equipment manufacturers to develop affordable options for home workouts. Her influence grew not through controversy or conflict, but through consistent demonstration of the values she advocated. The story of Emma's experience at Premier Elite Fitness became a powerful reminder that everyone deserves to be treated with dignity and respect, regardless of their appearance or perceived status. It highlighted the importance of looking beyond surface impressions and recognizing the worth and potential in every person we encounter. Most importantly, it showed that true strength lies not in exclusion and judgment, but in the courage to create spaces where everyone can thrive and grow. Years later, Emma would still receive messages from people who had been inspired by her video to pursue their own fitness journeys or to examine their own biases and assumptions. The simple act of walking into a gym and being treated poorly had become a catalyst for positive change that rippled throughout the fitness industry and beyond. It proved that sometimes the most powerful response to discrimination is not anger or retaliation, but the patient work of education and the persistent demonstration of a better way forward.